Okay. What are we doing? We just had an amazing conversation, and I was like, Chris, I think we need to just record this beautiful formula that we just came up with and
Yeah, and
share it with
it's
you
simple.
coaches.
It's simple.
Do you even remember how we started talking about this?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. We were talking about like the our offers and being excited about our offers and kind of spawned from this new offer that you are working on.
And cannot wait to talk about.
Cannot wait to talk about.
Yep.
And
And
it
your book.
right.
So,
Mhm.
okay, my chicken scratch notes, I think you came on and you said, I have this great idea for a book, which I'll let you share with the world when you're ready. But the question that came from it was, what's a book that I could write quickly? And there's like so much passion behind a book that you could write quickly. Because if you can write it quickly, like it's all just in you and ready to go. It's there and it wants to be in the world and it's just going to flow out. So that was such a good question. And it led to what's an offer I could like offer and love in that way. And what's an offer I'd want to talk about? Like, what's an offer I would want to tell the world about? Like this book, like it's just going to spew out of me.
Yeah, and I think what came up for me was this idea that like, we were talking about, yeah, and that's it. We were talking about offers and how much are you offering? Because I was asking like, how many offers do you make? And
That's exactly it.
right, and you're like, not a lot. And I was like, yeah, I don't make a lot of offers either.
Why
And
not?
why not? Why are we not
Oh
making?
my God, that was totally how it started.
Yeah, and it's like I was like, maybe I'm not excited about my offer, was kind of what came up for me. It's like it dawned on me that I'm potentially not excited about my offer because I'm never talking about it. And then you were like, yeah, this offer that I'm doing right now, this 5-day thing, it's like all I ever want to do is talk about it.
Yeah,
So
I literally wrote down what's an offer I'd be excited about, and then I crossed it off and I wrote what's an offer I'd want to talk about.
yeah, because there's a distinction there, right? And I think
Yes.
that's one of the first important takeaways from this is like the distinction in how we ask the question and the words matter. So what is an offer that I'm excited about? Like that could be so many offers, but I'm not marketing unless I'm talking to people about it. So the distinction between something I want to create and something I want to market, those could be two different things. So the question of what is an offer that I'm excited to talk about changes
Totally,
the game entirely.
total different game. And that led to how do I want to create an offer so that I want to talk about it? So good, so juicy. How do, instead of, because we were both noting that we've done a lot of what's an offer that the world needs, right? Like, what's an offer that people want? And then also, what's an offer I want to do? Like, what's an offer I want to show up and provide? But, and then creating from there. But this was like creating from the place of how do I want to create this so that I want to talk about it?
Yeah, and I think because so much of, and rightly so, I think it's important to think about what the world needs and what we want to do, like what we're willing to show up and do. But I feel like we end up creating it from the space of like, all right, here's what the world needs and what I'll show up to do. Now let me build all the belief around its value and why people need it versus like starting from the other place of like I already believe in it. I'm already excited about it. Like, and there might be belief work that needs to happen, but what if we start from the place of being super excited about it, which means we have to create it from a place of feeling excited about it. And this is all about, right? Like if we create it with the emotion that we want to have,
Yeah.
right? And we all know this, right? But it's like, this is dialing it in even more. If I want to be excited to talk about it, then I have to create it in a way that I'm excited about.
So good. So then my brain was like, I see this, Chris. I see it. It's columns. So the way I wrote my notes was I shared a YouTube video recently about like unshaming my note taking, because this is how I note take. It's like so messy. And a client saw it and she was like, your notes are one of my favorite things about you. I always wanted to ask you for pictures of your notes because they're just like so fun. Because I would like draw pictures for her and I'd scribble things out. But anyway, my brain saw these columns. So there's my messy notes that like felt like here's the offer formula. Like if you're a new coach, if you're a coach wanting to create a new offer, if you've been doing this for a while and you want to go like, why isn't this offer selling? Why am I not talking about it? Why, like, what's missing here? I saw these columns and it was like column 1, 2, 3, and we actually landed on 4. Okay, do you want to share the questions that we dropped into each of these columns? Because I
I
think
think you should share
there's,
them because I don't think I have them written down in a very,
yeah, there's so much magic. So column 1 is what would provide value. That's like, what does the world need? What does the world want? What is the world asking me for? Anyone who's followed me knows that I have a lot of body of work around abortion because I had one and felt like there was this empty hole and I wanted to fill it, right? Like, what would provide value? So that's column 1. That's really important question to ask. It's one most of us have asked. Column 2 is, what do I want to do? Again, we said you and I have both done this so many times. Like, what would feel good to me to do, both in terms of like weekly coaching, a membership, or whatever it is. Like, what do I want to do with my clients? Do I want hour sessions? Do I want weekly sessions? Do I want like what's sustainable for me? And I want to do it.
and I want to say this, like, we don't have to, I mean, this is an important question, but you also don't have to like labor on it. It is something I'm reconsidering after this conversation, but I made my decision about what my container looks on kind of based on what I didn't want to do. I was like, a year seems too long. Let's do 6 months, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those, like a year seems too long, 3 months seems too short. Let's try 6 months. Okay, right? And I might rethink that based on this conversation, but we can still with that sort of be in an exploratory phase of like, you don't have to like get it right. Like it's a B minus, get it good enough.
Yes. One of my favorite book concepts, actually. B minus changed my life. It's so good. All of these columns, like, we are whole and evolving human creatures. They're all going to change. But if you kind of looked at this every once in a while about your own offer and laid out these columns, been like, what's changed? What's different? What have I learned? What can I evaluate? Like, it's all going to change. Yeah, especially what do I want to do? That's going to change for so many different reasons, like your health, your family, your like expertise. One of the reasons I'm so excited about my new 5-day offer is like, I have new tools that can do faster things. So now what I want to do is different than what I wanted to do a month ago. Okay, column 3 is where we started. What do I want to talk about? So what would provide value? What do I want to do? What do I want to do that I also want to talk about?
Yeah.
I want to talk about doing.
Yeah.
Anything to add on column 3?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like that's where like again the excitement comes up, right? Like that feeling of like, what do I want to tell people about?
Yeah. And that's coming back to, because this whole conversation started for you and I, because you were like, I know the book I want to write. And it's
Yeah.
like, once you know, it's so easy to just like, it just comes out. And that's what the offer and the coaching should be like. And that is certainly what the marketing should be like. It should just want to come out. So what do I want to talk about doing? And then column 4, I just kind of threw in on the end because I was like, I started thinking about what these columns would look like in my own head. And then I noticed, what would I want my consumers, so whether they're paid clients or like your community or people who follow you or whoever's watching your stuff, what would I want my consumers to talk about me doing? And an example there is I am pivoting my work a little bit, and I'm like reading a lot and learning about perimenopause as I move through it. But I don't want people to be like, perimenopause, go talk to Amanda. No, like I want to talk about it and I want to help people with it, but I don't want to be known for perimenopause. So it brings a whole nother dynamic when you add that column. Like every time I'm a guest on a podcast and they say, where do people find you? I say, Google Amanda abortion. Done. Like that's all you need. Like you're gonna find me because that's what people know me for. Like it's super easy. I do not want people Googling Amanda perimenopause. Like I don't want my consumers to be talking about me in that way.
Yeah, and I think again we get to like allow that to shift and change too, as we evolve. So I think about, seasons of my career or my life and what's important to me in those different seasons. And like the last year I've been talking a lot about authority, and I'm going to continue to create around that topic probably for a while. So I do want people to know me for that, but that could also change when I've moved on to a new season of what's important to me. So again, I don't think any of this is fixed, but I think none of it is.
Everything's made up.
Everything's made up, right? And this reminded me of this is going to definitely like date this topic, this conversation, but Marie Kondo recently did an interview where she said she's no longer concerned about staying tidy because she's a mom of 3. And, it's because her priorities changed. And we were saying we don't know what that means for her. Like, what is untidy for Marie Kondo? Like,
are the rainbows out of order, or is there cereal and milk on the floor?
But like she built a brand around a tool that really helped people, and that's how people are going to know her, and that's fine. And she's allowed to change priorities for herself, but like the brand might not change. I still, I bought her like desk organizers. They're sitting in my desk right now. They're on sale at, the Container Store.
And they organize your desk, whether she tidies her house or not. Like they still serve the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. You might never get to not be known as the person who you go to for organization. And that's fine, right? And maybe that's what she wants people to know her for, even if her priorities change. So there's movement in this idea.
Okay, I'm feeling like I need to say something because I remember being a new coach and having a pretty significant fear around like, what if I say something? What if I build something? What if I create something and then I change my mind? And again, in my line of work, like that was like kind of like very central. What if I talk about this thing and then I change my mind? But it's the same here. Like, what do you have to say to people who are like, okay, I know it would provide value. I want to do it. I want to talk about doing it. And I want my consumers to talk about me doing it. But what if I change my mind in 5 years?
Oh, you're gonna change your mind in 5 years.
Exactly.
I would say. Like I would say you're absolutely gonna change your mind in 5 years. If we like think about like, oh, I always think about things in terms of performance because I'm a performer, but think about your favorite actors. Like some actors like do the same kind of movie all the time, right? And like they're totally fine with being known as like that kind of role. And then other actors are really interested in exploring all different kinds of roles, and they don't care if you don't go along with them on the journey.
Right.
And so you get to decide.
It's their journey and they're doing
their journey.
They want to.
So you just get to decide, right? Like you're like, maybe you're definitely not going to change your mind in 5 years. Maybe you're the kind of person that will always consistently have the same message, and you will be that person for your people. And maybe you're the kind of person like I'm that kind of person where I'm going to talk about different things every day. Like that's the way my brain likes to do things. I don't ever want to kind of like sit on anything, but there are themes.
Yeah.
So I would say don't be afraid of that. Like,
yeah. And like all the tools we have and coach people on, like just use them on yourself. I mean, it's like pretty simple here. Just, like if you're in a place, just self-coach yourself around it, get a coach, talk about it. It's totally okay. one of the things that helped me so much, I don't remember if I learned this in the life coach school or somewhere else, was like, let people be wrong about you. Is that a
Mm,
concept she teaches somewhere?
I think it is.
Anyway, wherever I heard that the first time, actually, I think I heard it in network marketing,
Ah.
my good old days. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But let people be wrong about you. And that's like, so what if you created a body of work, you changed your mind, and people have thoughts about you? Just let them be wrong. Let them be wrong.
And I think too, like, um, something like let yourself be wrong about you.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's
Oh,
juicy.
like let yourself be wrong about you. Because as I'm looking at these columns, right? Like it's the way my brain kind of like after Amanda spelled it out, my brain then like took it and it reminded me of like different levels of like buying a product, right? So if you're like a digital product, right, you have like your basic, which is like $5.99, and you get like these two features, and then your next step gives you like those and like a couple more, and then the next one gives you like 15,
Yes.
and then the ultimate one, it's like
Do I pay $7.99 a month or $99.99 a month?
yeah. And like this is where being letting yourself be wrong about yourself is really helpful because it's like, you can think that you're at the 99.99 or like $1,000 offer place where like you're ticking all the boxes where you do think that all of these things are there, and you could get 3 months down the road and realize that's not true.
Yeah.
And so then we start looking at re-asking those questions, right? It's like, when you do a funnel and think like, you want to find the place where people stop.
Go ahead, carry on.
Like when people stop converting, right? Like I don't
Yeah,
actually,
where?
where do they stop converting,
Yeah.
right? And so for these questions, I think it's like a good check-in every few months or something. Like if you check in quarterly, like is there a place where I've lost one of these principles? Again, we don't have to get it quote unquote right the first time,
Yeah.
but we do want to like be checking as many of them as we
Oh,
can.
that's so good. And it just switches the question like, does this still provide value?
Yeah.
Do I still want to do it? Do I still want to talk about it? Do I still want consumers to talk about me doing it?
Yeah. And
And
then
and just let it be fluid and changing and evolving.
and that's where the coaching comes in, right? Because it's like if it doesn't, if it's not something you still want to talk about, why? What
Yeah.
happened? Right? Like, is it because you're thinking other people don't want it? Well, is that true? Let's go back to the value question. Is it still something like you see a need for? Okay, so then you're just making stuff up in your head,
Yeah, right.
right? If there's still a need
And I
for
try it once and no one bought it. And now I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore.
we've all been there. So there's
Oh my
no shame in
God.
that, but it's definitely a little like check-in.
Yeah.
So
It's
good.
so good. I love it. You and I have been doing this for a while, and so lots of we've had lots of different offers. We have had lots of different ways of looking at offers. We've had lots of different mentors offer us their perspective on creating an offer. But literally this felt like offer formula. And I was like, Chris, I know we've been talking for a long time, but I think we should record this for coaches to look at. Well, I
Yeah.
mean for anyone really, but I wanted to record it for the posse.
And I wanted to as well. And I'm excited to see how this resonates with people because I think it will be really resonant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you for being you. It was so fun. I love that we get to have these
I know.
brainstorms.
If you don't have a coach bestie that you meet with once a week, coaches get one or several.
Game
Changer.
changing. Chris and I missed a week and I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 weeks. We're totally different people.
And we have so much to talk about. And we're going through withdrawal.
Yeah. Anyway, catch yourself a bestie. Go look at your offers. Keep showing up.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye.